Thank you to Pacific Premier today for organizing this event. Without you, all of this just wouldn't be possible. So thank you all for organizing this today. Today, we're going to be specifically talking about the International Summer Academy, our summer programs at the University of Toronto for high school students that are interested in coming to Toronto, taking some courses in a very diverse environment, and getting a little teaser of what not only the University of Toronto has to offer, but the city of Toronto. So, the city of Toronto is one of the most dynamic cities in the world. Over 180 languages and dialects are spoken within this great city. Almost 50% of the population of Toronto are actually made of immigrants. So, that's not even including first generation Canadians like myself. So, my family, for example, my father, my mother, they came from China. They immigrated over to the great city of Toronto, and they are part of that immigrant population today. Just a 10-minute walk from the University of Toronto St. George campus, you do have Chinatown. And then another 10-minute walk west, you have Koreatown. 5 minutes from there, you have Little Portugal and Little Italy. So it really does show you that Toronto is a city of multiple different cultures and people from all across the world. And if you do decide to come to our summer programs at the University of Toronto, you will see that reflected not only in the city, but also within your classes as well. So in our summer programs, students will get to explore what Toronto is really all about, but not just Toronto. They will go to many major areas within the Greater Toronto region. Things such as Niagara Falls, for example. So students, they get to actually go to Niagara Falls. The students will go on a boat. The boat will go very close to the falls, and they actually get to see one of the great wonders of the world. A lot of these high school students that do come to our summer programs, they like it so much that they decide to even study in Canada afterwards. So a lot of great ways to explore Canada as a whole, as well as the great city of Toronto. As you just mentioned earlier on, the CN Tower, that is also one of the trips that students get to go on. They go up, all the way up to the many floors that the CN Tower has, to the very top, and they actually get to see the great city from a bird's eye view. So just some of those activities that students get to enjoy. So, of course, they will actually experience the vibrant life of the city of Toronto as well. Another great thing about the city of Toronto is that it has so many different activities to do. We actually have 5 major sports teams in the city of Toronto, and then just added a women's hockey team as well, so pretty much 6. One of the major sports events that students get to enjoy in our summer programs is they actually get to go to a professional baseball team game. So our professional baseball team is the Toronto Blue Jays, and they actually get to sit among 50,000 other fans to enjoy a professional baseball game in the great city of Toronto. So just some of those activities that students get to have when they come to our summer academy. And last but not least, of course, students get to really create memories. I was a summer counselor in this summer program not too long ago. So I've seen firsthand some of the high school students that do come to our summer programs, and a lot of the time the summer students, they may be a little bit homesick. So they may be a little bit sad on their first week, but by the end of the program, they are also crying because they don't want to leave. The amazing memories that they've created in this great city, they don't want to leave. So they end up coming back for university afterwards as well. Students really make really strong memories with many students from across the world. It's a global program with students from places in Asia, Southeast Asia, South America, Europe, and even North America. So these students are coming from everywhere, and they're really making those meaningful bonds. So here are three of the programs that we have at our summer academy. I'll go through each one of them very shortly. So the first one is the International English Program. This is actually for adults that are interested in learning English a little bit more. However, I'm going to be focusing more so on the high school students. So we have the pre-university programs and the Youth International English Program. The Youth International English Program is for students of all English level. If they're interested in just developing their English a little bit better, a little bit more within an international setting, students have the Youth International English Program, they will take a general English course in the morning. They have an optional course in the afternoon. If they don't take the optional English course in the afternoon, they will be doing clubs and activities during that time. And then during the evenings and the weekends, that's when students get to go on a lot of those trips and excursions. We also have the pre-university programs. This is a bit more academically focused. It's not necessarily English focused anymore. This is for students with a higher English level. Our pre-university programs are split between what we call the Advanced Academic English Program and the Global Citizenship Program. The Advanced Academic Program is for students aged 15 to 18. Again, students of a stronger English level. And students will be taking courses within either science, economics. We have courses in language and literature, film and cinema studies. So students get to choose a course in the morning and the afternoon, depending on their interest. And then, of course, in the evenings and evenings and weekends, that's where students get to, again, go out, enjoy a lot of the activities that we have to offer, as well as the many excursions and trips to places such as Niagara Falls, the CN Tower, as well as the professional sports teams, as well as what we call the largest amusement park in Canada, Wonderland. So that's also a very, very popular trip that students go to in our programs. The second part of the pre-university programs is what we call the Global Citizenship Program. This is separate from the Advanced Academic Program. This is a little bit more workshop focused and workshop heavy as a program. It goes into topics within the United Nations Development Goals. So students will generally have to come up with a solution to one of the United Nations Development Goals that we proposed to them. Within the 3 weeks, they work with students from across the world within these workshops. And then after that, they present the solution to that to university faculty and staff. So it's a bit of a hands-on workshop type of program. Now, as I mentioned with the academics, in terms of these programs, the pre-university program, as mentioned earlier, would require a higher English level. Now, we're not asking students to take an IELTS or a TOEFL or a Duolingo or anything like that. We just have that there as a gauge to see if their English proficiency is high enough for the pre-university programs. For the Youth International English Program, it's for students of all English levels, and it's for students aged 12 to 18. And generally speaking, depending on their English level, when they come to the programs, that's when we would split them into certain classes based off of their English level. In terms of residence, when students come to our programs, it's an all-inclusive package. So this includes residence in the dormitories at our St. George campus at what we call New College. So that's one of the 7 colleges at the University of Toronto. That's where a lot of the dormitories are held. And that's where a lot of these students, of course, will be staying in these dormitories. So again, this is part of the pricing, which I will show you very shortly. But it's an all-inclusive price. And again, they will be living in the dormitories that university students were staying in the fall and winter. So a very unique experience to see what it's like living on the St. George campus. So of course, activities as mentioned earlier, of course, the CN Tower, Blue Jays games, Niagara Falls, Wonderland. We also have different clubs when students come to our programs. So again, depending on whether they like sports, whether they like arts or media, we have different types of clubs for students to enjoy for our Youth International English Program, as well as, again, many excursions to places such as like the major malls at the City of Toronto. So if students are interested in shopping, of course, we do have excursions like that as well. So really speaking, these international like summer programs are really there to help develop your future goals. A lot of these students that come to our programs, they have a strong interest in not only the University of Toronto, but Canada and Toronto as a whole. So you may be wondering, what kind of courses should I be choosing? Well, it really does depend on kind of the experience that you want at the University of Toronto. But regardless, it will be a global experience. So in our classes, in our programs, we actually have a 20% nationality cap. So that ensures that when they do come to our programs, they will be in classes with students from all across the world. There will never be one nationality overriding another. It will generally be, again, a 20% cap on all our nationalities. So when they do come, they really will get that international experience, and that's reflected in a lot of the courses that we have, well, whether it's global commerce, whether it's the global citizenship program. It's very globally focused, all about, I would say, thinking globally but acting locally.